impressive.
Ancient technology has built Stonehenge, pyramids.
I'm sorry,
Parthenon.
what were you talking about Jordanian template when you say that they cut it from the
Oh yeah,
mountain?
the Petra one.
The Petra, yeah, Petra temple
Yeah.
cut into mountain, yeah. But this one in India,
Yeah.
they cut into the ground,
Okay.
cut into the excavation. It's an excavation process. So when you look into the temple, you are from a higher level looking down, because they create a hole, but the hole has got temple in it.
What's the name again, if
Corridor.
you remember?
No, I don't remember. I'll have to, if I remember, I'll send it, okay? It's also, I think, it may not be one of the wonders of the world, but it is a crazy, it should be, I think, because they say only 7, there's wonders of the ancient world. Yeah, so I don't know if it's one of them or not. Some of the wonders of the ancient world don't exist, like the hanging towers or hanging gardens of Babylon. There is no remnant of it anymore, right? We can't really, there's no archaeological evidence right now you can go and see and touch, I think. But I could be wrong there, but that's what I believe. Marvels of the ancient world. It is, yeah, incredible. Speaking of technological wonders, today we build website. We build apps. Not the same level, isn't it? And we use code, I guess, as a computer. It becomes our tool, and the code becomes, what is the code? The code
It's our imagination, actually. Like,
code becomes the blocks to build the stuff.
Exactly.
It's virtual. It's not tangible. You know, they say the weight of the internet is about the weight of a plum, a fruit. If you could weigh the internet based on the weight of a bit and of the bits and stuff like that, all these electronics, right? Electrical particles, it is about a weight of a plum. Someone had so much time and calculated all this. The weight of a plum. So just give you a bit of intro to myself. So I'm a creative technologist. My background is more creative than developer. I do appreciate code and code languages. I know a few, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert level in them. It's more enough to understand structure, syntax, maybe put something really rough together, like really rough. My background, like I say, is more creative direction and concepts and so on. So what I do is I try and meet a tech brief with a kind of a lateral thinking, like how can we achieve the same outcome for the end user, whether it's business user or customer, using technology, and most of the time cutting edge or new technology. This is why I was interested, Theo, when you mentioned about the machine learning, and you said that you TensorFlow.js. I dabble up quite a bit in TensorFlow as well. So do you have anything you want to share with us, or just talk about, and then maybe later, Dimitri, and also tell me a bit about both of you as well.
Okay, Dimitri, you want to get started actually?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm front-end developer. I started actually a career one and a half year ago, before I worked in the gastronomy. So mostly I work with JavaScript and React, and actually I didn't heard much about the machine learning yet. So yeah, it will be, I guess, interesting, this intro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. It's just that in the Slack channel, I was asking Theodore, because right now my interest is I have a big interest in machine learning and AI. So that's why I asked him. So I'm sort of putting you on a spot right now, but it's okay. So you said you do programming.
It's interesting. Yeah, I work mostly with React and a little bit of Vue.
Yeah. So TensorFlow.js is basically machine learning library for web using JavaScript. Yeah.
Yeah, I read something like before the meeting. I read a little bit like based on the deep something JS, I guess.
Oh,
deep learn JS, the core of the library.
I didn't go deep into the core. Is that what it's called?
Deep. So once again, sorry.
Is that what it's called? No,
I
just
think it become like TensorFlow from the deep learn or something like that. It doesn't matter actually. And I saw a couple of examples like what exactly they are trying to achieve. It was impressive actually. This example of the Pac-Man, maybe you saw it.
using something to control Pac-Man.
Yeah, like by your eye, you're learning,
eyes to
you're
control
teaching.
Pac-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's using facial points recognition and stuff like that. It can do hand gesture. It can do full body tracking.
Yeah.
Right. Theo, you want to say something?
Yeah,
You want to
sure.
say something?
So just to give you a perspective about my background, I'm a full stack developer working both backend and frontend, mostly working with JavaScript, both ways like Node.js, all the ecosystem, and upfront, I'm using React as well, vanilla JavaScript, whatever it takes, and depending on the project. I'm also a seasoned Golang developer. I have worked with various languages like Ruby, Rails, and for 1.5 years, I have been working with Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regarding the actual, and I have worked with different clients. Like I have worked for 2 major startups here in Greece. I know web agents in the past, and like 1.5 years, I have been working as an independent software engineer. And regarding TensorFlow and all the machine learning stuff, there's a trick there. So actually, I cannot fully understand the mechanics behind the applications because they're like tons of math and models and papers and different algorithms and so on. For one project of mine, I was working on actually it was an image board where users could upload images and so on. And we used NSFW.js, not safe for work, in order to detect nudity, porn, and so on. In order to avoid
problems.
In order to avoid the uploads, the malicious uploads. And I have also worked with a project called Magic. That was cool actually. In the marketing side of my previous job, we had a lovely marketing website where everyone could visit the documentation, the links, and so on. So we used a small machine learning library feeding the data from Google Analytics in order to find out which link should we prefetch. So based on the interaction of the user, we were tracking down the interactivity, and based on the models from Google Analytics, we were able to prefetch the data in order to feel more snappy.
So you will show the stuff you think is more relevant to the end user?
No. We were trying to preload the stuff we thought the user would click. So instead of waiting for the feedback from the user, the interaction was like really snappy.
It's a kind of optimization that you don't load everything, you just preloading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're saying, give me a user journey. I go to this website. It has cookie data. Does it have my cookie data or not? It does.
No, it does not. We were not using because GDPR, obviously.
GDPR, yeah. So assuming they don't allow, so the user has said no. Unless the user say yes, you can, then you can, right? But say you say no, I land on the website on the homepage. So I'm messing around. I'm looking at stuff. I'm scrolling here and there, clicking on stuff. So in the back end, it's like sort of like, okay, Joel is doing these things, and then you're going to serve something to me.
No.
Tell me how.
So you're visiting a website. Okay.
Yep.
We have extracted data from Google Analytics, and we have created a graph based on our user journeys. So based on as you're scrolling and clicking and so on and trying to interact, the model actually suggests that we should preload. The model is confident that you're gonna click the about or the careers page.
Yeah.
So in the background, we're prefetching the data. We are actually making a request in order to optimize the data. Got it. Once you click the about page, it's instantly way faster than waiting for the server to get the request back and so on.
And so it's faster because for example,
it seems faster.
Yeah, but does it make a difference to the user or not? Felt difference, because you're saying that means that the about page is quite a heavy, it's quite a large file because it maybe contains video or something, lots and lots of it. Is that why you need to speed it up?
No, we just wanted to create a smoother user interaction. So actually, it would take, based on the optimization we have made, it would take like, I don't know, 1 second to load. But using the prefetching data, it takes like 10 milliseconds.
Amazing.
Because we have the data in the cache.
And so is this like a web application, like a mobile app? You could web app?
Exactly.
Got it. I understand now. So you are not using necessarily like broadband. You could be on a 4G signal or flipping 3G signal.
Exactly. Yeah, we are prefetching data in the background without actually blocking anything. And once the user clicks something, the page is it's shown without any delay or so on.
So basically, the model will predict based on your behavior, your early behavior on the website, what to preload.
Exactly.
And then start preloading that. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. That's the kind of stuff we need to do more in foolproof, actually. I was talking to someone.
It was like a crown.
Where is it? Bring it back. There it is. Sometimes it's buggy. It's trying to track my face, my body.
Yeah.
It's AI actually. It's computer vision. What's happening right now? Not many people realize that AI is actually everywhere in almost every tool we use. Anyway, I digress. So as I was saying, I thought of a solution once for a marketing page where we're selling mobile phones. So you're thinking that if we base it on historical data, take all the historical data of the user landing on a page with or without understanding of cookies. Let's just say without any third-party data, it's all first-party. Like in your case, it was all first-party data, historical. And then train a model to know if a user clicks on this, this, and this, let's say the first 3 or 4 actions, the end result will either be a bounce, or you will click on that or this object or this product or this plan or a price plan or SIM card. So if we can train a model to understand this, then the cool thing is next time Joe Blogs goes onto the website on phone or whatever, on a desktop, if they start interacting in a certain way, we will just push the content up. Like, would you be interested in this? Because we can be quite confident, with us up to a certain level of confidence, that this is what they really want, even before they know what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was a hypothesis. Unfortunately, we couldn't action to try the hypothesis, but maybe we will in the future. That was a hypothesis. So that's using machine learning, but it's not real time. What you are suggesting is, I think, did you embed a kind of a machine learning, or it's just like based on what the model already has told you?
So based on the journeys, we actually created a graph, which is relatively small. It was like links one after another. And so
decision tree.
Yeah, exactly.
You create a decision tree for the
exactly. But because we didn't want to load like a huge JavaScript file with all the TensorFlow and so on, we created a build where we scrambled the data and find out the journey. And it was really easy to understand and prefetch data on real time, just with a small, just a few lines of code. Like, so the user clicked this one, and this one. So next up would be that one.
It's conditionals.
Exactly. But the building of the graph was based on Google Analytics, and the pre-building model was based on TensorFlow and Magic.js.
Yeah. So did you, whom did you use to create the model? And you built the model. Did someone else do it? Did you do it?
No, it was fairly easy, actually. We extracted the data. I used the Google APIs, the Google Console API, and was able to create the journeys like in a way that it makes sense. So we had graphs with weights. For instance, if you land on the landing page and afterwards you go to the documentation page and created all the graph, but that was fairly easy. actually.
So you looked at the graph and then you came up with your own conclusion.
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that.
Well, one day, if you can show me your dashboard, how you did it on, is it Google Cloud Platform?
Yeah.
It's a Google
I
Cloud
can.
platform. Everything is a Google Cloud Platform nowadays.
I know.
So
I know.
if you show me, or if you give me a bit more detail or some screen
Yeah, I can.
captures, I would love to see how you created that solution. It's a very clever solution. I thought that there was like you created a machine learning model from scratch. So my
No,
yeah, so
no,
I can so I do
that was
I
not
can
the case.
so I'm learning to use Google Vertex AI. So Vertex is the compilation of all the AutoML, all the stuff they bundled into one thing now. And this was launched about a year ago plus. But anyway, I digress. So I really went in deep into machine learning, and I learned Python so that I can go into machine learning. So I write some Python. Do you all know? You familiar with Python at all?
It's similar to JavaScript, actually.
Quite close,
Almost. Yes, very close, but
Yeah.
I never code something on Python.
And that was my gateway to ML, and you know, Jupyter notebooks. Even Amazon AWS uses Jupyter notebooks. TensorFlow with Python obviously uses their own. They have got Google Colab. You know, colab.google.com is a Jupyter notebook that lives on the cloud and saves into your Google Drive. And based on that, the amazing thing about Colab is it's actually running their GPU in the cloud for free. So when you run code, when you run script to do machine learning inference or to come up with predictions, which is what I get really enthusiastic about. I can predict future. Is this person going to leave this bank? Is this person going to, you know, so it's all kinds of possibilities. It's super exciting. And that's why I thought about that. If the person is looking at this, most probably they will buy it. From historically, we could say that they will buy this thing. I think more and more we will find ways to employ ML into sites. And like what you have done is a clever use of data, actually, data science, basically.
Yeah, it makes sense actually. I was working on an ATS, an applicant tracking system company. So
what?
I could applicant tracking system.
I don't know what applicant tracking system is.
So basically, it's a way to hire people. It's it provides. It's called work. It's called
application as in job application.
Yeah, exactly. So you can post the. So you can post a job posting, track down the candidates, create all the interview workflows, and so on. It's you can actually track down and manage applicants for a job. And we had a huge data science team that they were trying to do some stuff like, you know, auto disqualify candidates based on the resume, reading the resume, disqualifying candidates that they don't fit the job, automation regarding video interviews. So they had in place like algorithms that you were submitting a job application and they were asking for a small clip where you would describe yourself, and they were trying to create algorithms that they could actually read your facial expressions and detect some things like intelligence or.
Is that the WebRTC? Is that what you mentioned about using WebRTC?
Yeah, exactly. So we were using WebRTC, and basically we did nothing with AI. We were just using WebRTC in order to send data back to their service. It didn't actually.
You activate camera and they give you permission to use camera, and did they see themselves? Do they know that their emotions are being tracked?
Yeah. Yeah, it was part of the application process. So some clients they were asking for a small clip where you would introduce yourself, or maybe you know, because sometimes they were trying to hire people that they were native in some language, so they were asking for some French or English or I don't know, Polish or so on.
Yeah, that's so interesting. If you have any documentation or any
I will send you over. Yeah,
visuals to show it rather than or some sort of wireframe or something like that. if you could package it and send, because this will help us also as a tech and engineering in Foolproof to know that, these are potential solutions and how people have done this before, and we can also propose that in future as solutions. Dimitri, is there anything you want to tell us? I don't know, just share.
I don't even know, because I don't have that much experience, with AI. So
okay, no problem. Maybe
sorry, guys.
it doesn't have to be AI. It can be something else. Interest in something, or something you want to build. No,
nothing that's coming in my mind.
Okay, no worries. So both of you will be on the Johnson Matthew job, I think, in a week's time. That's what Panos has told me. You know how to reach me, and we can and please we have a channel called Creative Tech. So I can add, since both of you are in Slack, I'll add you to the Creative Tech channel, and please feel free to share. Will it be okay if I share? I recorded this conversation. Will it be okay for me to share this with the company?
Sure.
As a way to introduce both of you, and also because to talk about technology. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.